1 second. The mic went out. I think we're good now. Sorry, apologies for that. All right, everyone, welcome back into another Fantasy Golf video. Going to be breaking down the Players Championship, just getting into the final thoughts. If you guys have any questions, make sure to get those asked, and I'll be able to answer those as well. Going to be a pretty quick live stream here, though. Don't need to get into too much. If you guys have questions, obviously I'd be happy to answer those, but probably going to be a pretty quick video. I do want to go ahead and start out with a quick update that I made to the 9to5 website. I'm pretty excited about this one. As you guys know, I'm always trying to make more and more updates without really raising the membership price, which is what I was able to do here. So added in the ownership leverage on the 9to5 cheat sheet. So if you are still using the old one, it's still going to work, so you guys can still get the PGA ownership leverage. That's still going to be available via the old tab, okay? But I went ahead and made a little bit more of an detailed version of it, or more detailed version of it as well. So yes, the old one will still be there, kind of operate how it always did. That's still there. But what we're going to be looking at is the new update that I just made. So I'm pretty excited about this, guys. So gives you guys the detailed breakdown of this, and the how you get there is you just click on this little section on top of the cheat sheet. So ownership leverage, you click on that. That'll bring you to this page. So we're going to be talking about ownership here. And so you can sort it by salary like it is right now. You can sort it by projected fantasy points. But what it's breaking down here, and I like this aspect of it. So you can sort it by projected ownerships, see which golfers are the chalkiest and whatnot. What you can do is also sort it by what Vegas would be given the proper ownership. Okay. And so this is part of how we are able to determine which golfers are going to be good leverage rank plays. Okay. And so this is what I like. And this is based off of Vegas outright data. Okay. It's also going to be based off of the Vegas make cut percentages. The proper ownership is then going to be kind of comparing all the data points that we have coming in together. So we're taking the projected ownership, we're taking the Vegas data for outright odds, make cut likelihood, and we're also using the 9to5 data to get a proper ownership using the projected ownership. Okay, so that's going to be taking what we already have for the projected ownership and then also applying what the proper ownership should be. And so with that, we are able to determine what ownership edges we are getting for a certain player. Okay, so for Scotty, he is a little bit overvalued, and that is what the leverage tag is going to call out to us. And so if you want to just look at maybe which golfers are over-owned or overvalued. Okay, so right now, Tommy Fleetwood, Sepp Straka are definitely overvalued. Okay, that's what we are seeing here. Okay, so Tommy Fleetwood, he is being valued as a golfer that's going to finish top 5. That's kind of crazy. Okay, so he's being like, I love him. I'm not changing it at all. You know, I still think he's going to be good to go, but worth calling out there. And then we look at golfers that might be slightly overvalued, and we're getting a decent amount. And so the big question I think everyone's going to have is Michael Kim. What to do with Michael Kim? Okay. And we got Rob kind of mentioning this, and the answer is definitely no. No, not 100% at all, not even close. I would argue, and the data is kind of telling us this as well, we probably want to be a little bit underweight on Michael Kim. The issue with Michael Kim is there's plenty of other options around his price tag that are going to be just as good of play. I don't want to say just as good of plays, but plays that are maybe slightly worse. And we have seen this time and time again. It's not like Michael Kim's a lock and load, clear cut golfer that's going to make the cut. He's just underpriced. But the thing with this week is we are getting plenty of golfers that are underpriced. So again, what we could do here is we could sort it by salary. So we have it sorted by salary. Let's scroll down to Michael Kim. And I would say the easiest pivot right away from Michael Kim is a golfer that's priced right next to him, and that's Jake Knapp. Jake Knapp is a golfer that has made a cut at this event. He's someone that is also in pretty darn good form as well. He's coming in properly owned, though. Okay, you could be on him about 0.62 more. And see, this is a little bit too detailed. Like, typically speaking, ownership really doesn't matter too much. People are not making good enough builds here and there, but I want to get that, finite detail for everyone. I want people to be able to take advantage of maybe some potential ownership spots that they see and really attack that. But yeah, looking at Michael Kim, like, you could easily just get to Jake Knapp, some other golfers that pop. I mean, I don't love him. I'm not getting to him that much. Kevin Roy, though, he's a great stat fit. I wouldn't be shocked at that. We don't have to get there. Hogard is a golfer that's a great stat fit as well. I mentioned this in the 9to5 write-up. Let's actually pull this up. because I went into a lot of detail for this, and I think it's a good topic of conversation to have. So let me get into that. And if you guys haven't, go ahead and check out the 9 to 5 write up. It's available, obviously, on the website. But I went into a lot of detail about this on the write up here, just kind of comparing it. So let's pull that up. Here we go. So I mentioned it, like everyone is like Michael Kim, as they should. So he is in great form. Obviously, making 5 straight cuts in a row, 2 of those being top 10 finishes. Love that there with him. But we have some concerns with him. It's not like he's a lock and load. So he's 58th ranked specialist. Okay. So that doesn't bode well. And that might actually point to why he struggled at this event last year. Now, last year he was a completely different golfer. I understand that. But like Michael Kim, you could get to Jake Knapp. I already mentioned that. Hogard is going to be someone that is going to be a golfer that's going to be a good pivot. And really, probably the most obvious pivot is actually going to be Alex Smalley. Alex Smalley, guys, has one bad start recently, whereas the miscut really bad. Other than that, all top 20 finishes like recently. So, and Alex Smalley is a good staff hit as well. He also has poor course history, but on paper, he's pretty much the same play as Michael Kim. And Alex Smalley, what the heck is his ownership? Oh, I need to add a search right here. That's fine. I can do that after this video. But yeah. There he is. I'm just curious. So Alex Smalley is only being valued as a golfer that's going to finish top 40. His projected ownership is around 7%, which is actually still pretty high. That's not like egregiously low, but that's because he's a good staff hit. Other players, like Andrew Putnam, is a golfer that I think we can kind of project to make the cut. And I'm fine with him. Okay. He has a good chance to make the cut. Another one, Min Price Chan Kim. Vegas has given him a 52% chance to make the cut. And it's just logical pivots. Taylor Moore's another one. So there are plenty of options that we can roll with. And I did kind of talk about this in the write-up as well. Just getting into a little bit more in depth about it. But yeah, no, not a must play by any means. I spent a lot of time talking about that, but I think it's a great question. That is the question of the week, really, is what to do with Michael Kim. But getting back into it, guys, as well, you can sort it by ownership edge if you want to. Which golfers are the most overvalued? That's probably the best way to go about doing it. It's just sort of by that. But you can just scroll down to the bottom as well. I do have it listed there as well. So we got potential fades, golfers that are overvalued. Okay. So these are golfers that you maybe don't want to be on as much as the field. Okay. So Michael Kim is popping up as one of those golfers that are probably one of the most overvalued this week. Scotty Scheffler is someone that we might actually have to worry about a little bit as well. In terms of golfers that are potential leverage spots for us, I don't think we really need to get to them. Really, I get why the data likes them, and so we'll just sort by that real quick. We'll flip that around. So why is Xander and Cantlay popping up this much? One, because they are egregiously low owned, especially compared to other golfers around them that are projected to do about the same. Now, that is partially due to the 9 to 5 data, obviously, also the Vegas data. Okay, so that's part of the equation. Could they pop and be in a GPP winning lineup? Yes, that's kind of the point. That's why they are, good leverage plays. I'm not getting to them that much, though. So I'm looking at this. Basically, all these top golfers here, I don't feel the need to get to more. Now, you could. There are under-owned. I don't feel the need to get there. Xander, we're still worried about him being banged up. Patrick Cantlay should be a perfect play for the scores. He has been extremely hit or miss. He is someone that could give us a top 10 finish. The course history hasn't exactly been there. Sam Burns, again, I don't feel the need to get there. I'm pretty dialed in on the high price golfers I'm going to be on. Taylor Pendrith, I'm skipping on him. But after that, we get down to maybe Keith Mitchell, Davis Thompson, Tony Finau, I could get to those golfers more. But to me, this week is much more about golfers that are slightly overowned or overowned. We don't need to be on those golfers that much. Now, Seb Straka, I do like. I'm actually overweight on the field of Seb Straka. Same thing with Tony Finau. Same thing with Michael Kim. But I have actually gotten off of him a little bit more because he's overvalued. Aaron Rise, fine. Hideki, it makes sense why these golfers are chalky. Okay, it's not crazy. But like Joel Damon, we don't need to get to that much. And so I'm not saying like we have to adjust, but we can make educated decisions off of this, right? If we're trying to gain leverage, which again, we don't necessarily have to do that with PGA ownership. It's not like NFL or NBA. Okay. Typically speaking, that's not the reason why you have a good week or bad week. Okay. So did want to call out. I think it's a fun tool. But now I think we are getting some questions here. So we'll jump into a couple of those. And then I'll be jumping into kind of the rest of the video. But I wanted to start with that update. I'm kind of excited for that. Can we trust JT in one and done? So the answer to that is no. I don't like. I talked about this in the write-up as well. Like this week, guys, is such a fascinating week where we have zero core plays on paper, which is insane. Okay, insane. I don't remember the last week in which we've had zero core plays. And so what I'm referring to here is you go to the 9 to 5 data tag, which is, if you want to call it AI, it's not, but a lot of people would use that as the advertising word for this. It's pulling in kind of what traditional core plays would be, those golfers that are highly likely to make the cut, those golfers that are checking all the boxes. We have zero of those. On top of that, I think it's worth calling out as well, we have one good outright bet. And so to say you can trust a golfer this week, I wouldn't do that. I would not do that at all. JT, if you want to use him in one done, I wouldn't blame you though. Okay, he's fine. Look at the metrics, top 20 or better in all the key metrics, 13 straight make cuts, obviously pretty stellar there. Yeah, I think you can trust, like, not trust him, but I'm perfectly fine clicking him. But yeah, I don't want to give you confidence on a player like too much this week because it's a players championship. Anyone can miss the cut if they're not having the top of their game that week. Yeah. So yeah, Michael Kim, we've been there, done this before, right? Where there's a value play that's chalky that everyone seems to think they need to be on, and then they just struggle. And so there's plenty of pivots we can make that are going to be just as good of plays. Again, Michael Kim, it's not too crazy in terms of his ownership, how he's being valued. He's only being valued as someone that needs to finish top 20, which isn't crazy. So if you think if you think Michael Kim is going to finish better than top 20, then sure, you can actually be overweight on him. If you think he's going to finish worse than top 20, then you probably wouldn't want to be on him. We're getting other value plays at that price that you can be on. I am on him a decent amount, don't get me wrong, but this isn't a week in which you need to, there's no like free squares. There's no golfer that's egregiously mispriced. That is the fascinating part about this week, is that there's no like optimal lineup approach that you can take because the pricing is so good. I really applaud the DraftKings pricer this week with how they did, because you could make any lineup path work. You can do fair and balance. You can do studs and duds. You could do a mix and match of that. And so I don't think it needs to be chalk. Like, I get it. Don't get me wrong, but he did miss the cut at this event last year. He's not the best specialist in the world. And you got to remember the reason why like Vegas is on him so much more as well, because people have already bet on him, because they already established that he was good value. And so that's actually skewing a lot of data more to tell you to be on him more, because the public already kind of found that error. And now that's being skewed a little bit more. For office pools, I forget. You know what? If that was my recommendation, yes. I forget whoever I recommended there. The answer is yes. I kind of forget who I had on that specifically, and I want to see if I can pull it up on my end real quick. It's a fun question. I like the pools. I just don't want this to crash my live stream here at all. All right, so tier 6. Yeah. So Alex Smalley was another golfer we could be on there. So it's Nick Taylor, yes, and then Alex Smalley, tier 6. That's really it. I mean, obviously, there's going to be other golfers that pop, and I mean, it's a big list. The chances that we're going to be on the optimal golfer in that range, like the golfer that's going to play the best, not likely. But as long as we can chase some, that should be a good option. Yeah, Nick Taylor is going to be that play. Yeah, I like Christian Bazoon out a decent amount. So let's actually talk about the weather a little bit here. I want to take a peek. I haven't taken a peek at it too much today. for this week, but I want to just see if it's about the same. So the interesting thing about the weather when I last looked, and again, I kind of mentioned this in the write up here, get to the weather segment, is that on Friday, it could actually, the winds start to pick up later on in the day. And so maybe, and it's not supposed to change like the rounds at all. Like Thursday, Friday, we should be pretty good to go. There shouldn't be an advantage there. But if there is going to be an advantage at all, it could be with those Friday PM golfers. Now, I haven't looked at his split yet, but he is someone that if he makes the cut, given the terrible weather that we have projected for Saturday specifically, he's actually someone that could end up benefiting. He's someone that I think gets a bump there, but he's got to make the cut. I do think he has a good chance to make the cut, though. Yeah, so don't bring up the 2020 Players Championship. That still gets me to this day. The fact that it didn't even get paid out was annoying there for that tournament. Thoughts on Horgard? Yeah, so he's a stellar player. He's a great stat fits. He again, he's a great pivot from people that are not getting to or wanting to get off of maybe Michael Kim. He makes a lot of sense. So he's going to be one of the better stat fits in the field. Top 5, which is crazy, right? But top 20 in recent form rank as well. He's not a good specialist. Doesn't have good course history as well. But really good stat fit, really good form. And so he's a player that I think we could get to. And I don't want to say we could feel confident about him as a play, but we should feel pretty decent about him as a play there as well. So let's continue on. If you guys have any questions, again, happy to answer those, but don't want this video going too long. Let's jump into some prop bets and see if the board has changed at all. I actually went ahead and posted a props video on my main channel just to test to see if that would do better or worse than this channel, and it's not doing well. It's so crazy that there's a difference in the crowds. It's just one of the strange things there, but it is what it is. But looking at guys, so prop line differences. This is where we want to start with PrizePicks or Underdog. Where begin the prop line differences, and we're really not getting that big of prop line differences between PrizePicks or Underdog. Okay, so nothing too crazy there. We'll sort it by edge, and we are getting some pretty massive birdie or better differences here. And so let's say you are someone that is on Joel Damon about 10%, then you are loving him to get over 3.5 birdies or better, like what is popping up right now in the cheat sheet. And so one of the most simple bets you can make is actually just doing Scotty Scheffler under 5.5 birdies or better, paired that up with Joel Damon on PrizePicks, and then you are sitting pretty for your bet slip there for PrizePicks. That is a fine bet. I do think it's worth calling out these other birdie or better bets that are popping up as 4s. I'm not touching those. They're basically all being valued as pushes. That should be the norm, is golfers scoring 4 birdies or better. And so other than that, we shouldn't be touching. Like, I don't want to touch those, because to get to 5 birdies, I do think will be difficult. And specifically for Scotty, to get to 6 birdies, that's going to be really difficult. So yeah, I'm fine doing Kuchar and Joel Damon for over the birdies or better, but we don't have to go crazy with it. And if you guys are betting, wanting to use one of those bets, you can always refer to the 9 to 5 cheat sheet and take one of these good bets that we have just in general, because obviously once you start playing more and more prop bets on PrizePicks or Underdog, the payout's going to be significantly reduced. And that is why I have told people to go to betr to play some of their golf bets, because if you're placing a 5, 6, or 7 slip bet, the flex payout is much better on betr. Another workaround with that, if you just want to do the best bets, you could do Coleman Hawkins today for over his fan. Plenty of college basketball prop bets that are popping up that we could go with today for that. And real quickly, we'll jump into Underdog as well. We're going to get more of the same prop bets as well here. So I'm zooming out so you guys can see it a little bit. So again, we're getting a decent amount of prop line differences. Basically the exact same prop bets. You could do Charlie Hoffman, though, to get over 3.5 birdies or better on Underdog. That's really the biggest difference. They have taken Scotty Scheffler off the board for his birdies or better of 5.5. So that's interesting. And then, so all these bets right here, guys, these bets that we're being told to bet. Why is my audio cutting in and out? That's annoying. You could do all these bets actually at better. Just bet them all under. Do all 7 of them. Chances are it's probably going to go 5 for 7, but you're still going to get a decent payout for that. Where if you did that on PrizePicks or Underdog, the payout would be egregiously bad. Like, you're winning 1 unit for like a 7 slip bet, which is stupid. I actually love this question. To me, guys, the Players Championship is it's not even a hot take. I don't think. I just don't think many people realize it. It's the hardest tournament to win. It's the best. It's the best fantasy golf tournament for sure. I did get a comment of someone saying the Masters. I'm like, no, the Masters is not a good fantasy golf week. It's a reduced field event. There's like 30 golfers that you are maybe on that week for like betting and DFS. It's actually the only good part about the Masters is that there's a lot of casuals that come in. And so that creates a pretty darn big edge. And that does happen for the Players Championship as well, but it's the most loaded field. That's why the pricing is the way it is. That's why we're talking about golfers in the 5K range. So this is the tournament that I actually get up for the most because it's typically the biggest edge. Now, this year, it's a little different because we are not getting any free squares, which is annoying. Like, I honestly thought Daniel Berger would be $2,000 cheaper than he is because that is what has traditionally happened for the Players Championship. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely the most difficult event to win each and every year. And I don't really understand why that isn't more of a sentiment across the fantasy golf spaces. I get why Masters gets a lot of hype, but it's relatively speaking, it's not that hard of an event to win because there's like 20 golfers that can win. Out of Almberg, Morikawa, and Hideki, who do you like the best as a pay up option? Let's refer to the 9-to-5 player pool to answer that question. So I am not on Ludwig that much, but I'm pretty sure it's Hideki. No, it's Morikawa. It's Morikawa then Hideki. And so yeah, I have Ludwig as I'm kind of somewhat fading him. I have him as a lower exposure play. So that should answer your question. PGA as well, but it also has like at least the Players Championship is getting golfers that are somewhat hot in the field as well. There's not that many like random golfers that are just have no chance of making the cut or winning or top 10ing, whereas the Players Championship does. Like Chan Kim, min price this week, has a 52% chance to make the cut per Vegas odds. Like you just don't see that in any other spots. And I think that's the biggest difference for me. But yeah, the other majors, PGA Championship, the Open Championship, the US Open, those would also be up there, obviously. But let's go ahead and get into some round one bets here as well, guys. So let's jump into some 3-ball bets. And we were actually getting some pretty big edges yesterday, and I'm sure we're getting them again. So what we're doing here, we're sorting the edge again by a positive edge. And it's already sorted by matchup odds. So some of these have slightly adjusted a little bit. So we still got Max Graceman. Yeah, these are not nearly as good as what they were earlier, but not bad. Max Graceman to win his group over Ben Griffin and Eric Cole. Jonathan Vegas to win his group over Adam Hadwin and Matt Kuchar. I don't mind that one. One's not terrible. We were getting one at like 4-1 earlier, which is no longer on the board. Hogard's fine. These are all fine. I would say obviously Vegas is pretty. Hogard is a golfer that I do like for round one betting as well. I'm actually just. Is it weird to just go off of the write-up? I spend a lot of time on this each and every week, but it's really detailed. So let's just jump into that. So Hogard is actually someone I am getting to at 125-1. Bovada is giving him those odds, which is pretty good. You can still get him at 110-1. Also pretty good odds, but he is someone that typically scores actually really well in the early AM. And so I'm actually fine getting to him. So yeah, Jake Knapp was one that was really popping. Svensson was someone that was popping as well. We are still getting Vegas, Max Graceman. You could add in Hogard into that mix as well for round one 3-ball bets. I think I would be fine with that there. And we have some tournament matchup bets. If you guys want those, you can. We are going to jump into some general. Let me load that slide up. We're going to jump into just some general round one bets that we can get into for matchup bets. So let me get that video or page loaded real quick. All right, so what we're doing, we're sorting by round bets, and then we're going to sort by sports pick as well. Eventually, I want to get all of these tabs also added into the 9-to-5 cheat sheet, so you can just be on that sheet, not having to jump as much. That's fine. So let's start with any plus EV bets that we are getting for the round. I haven't looked at this yet. Are we getting any good spots? I don't hate this one. Henley to beat Ludwig, 1%. EV, Tony Finau over Wyndham Clark, Robert McIntyre over Jordan Spieth. Those are all fine. If you want those, by all means you can. But let's sort it by the 9-to-5 edge. All right, so Yes, yeah. So yeah, Russell Henley minus 105 beating Ludwig. It's a decent bet. Be fine with that for round one. Very decent edge there. The only issue with Russell Henley, and I'm not worried about it, is just, is he going to show up mentally? Right? We worry about that after a victory, but that putt on 18 was just so telling to me. The fact that he walked it in a little bit. No one's really hyping that up. I'm a little bit sad by that, but nonchalantly just reached in and grabbed it. It was like he was on a practice green. And so I'm like, he's going to be good to go this weekend. So I'm not too worried about him. But typically we would be, and maybe this is a bet that would be popping up where the data would be telling us to maybe bet it, and we'd have to use the human element of, kind of, will a guy that won last week continue to play well? I don't think we have to worry about that. I think we're good to go with that. I don't mind that one. Nick Taylor to beat Christian Bezuidenhout in round one, also a pretty good bet there. Okay, so minus 105 there. Kind of crazy. So the book odds for DraftKings, they're giving Bezuidenhout about a 54% chance, Taylor about 51. The 9 to 5 data has it's much more in Nick Taylor's favor, so decent edge there. I'm not doing this one. I'm not going to bet against Michael Kim that much, guys. So I'm not doing Michael Kim to lose to Maverick McNeely. I think we just roll with those top two bets and feel fine. Just scrolling and seeing. Yeah, I think we're just fine with these first two bets. Now, do want to caution, the head-to-head bets have been insanely good. Insanely good. What is it at? It's too good. It really is. It's too good right now. This is not a sell pat in the back. This is a fair warning. So 49 for 68. That is way too good. That is going to start to miss here. We're probably going to have like 2 bad weeks in a row at some point. Like, seriously, like, I'm not saying don't place those bets. It's just going to happen eventually. That's just data. Like, there's going to be some regression. Like, if we're chasing bets that, I don't know, I would say on average are about maybe 55 maybe percent likelihood to hit. It differs obviously with each bet. We are way above the expected hit rate though. So don't be surprised if that comes down a little bit. Just fair warning, like way too hot with the head-to-head bets. Should be closer to honestly like 60%. It's just too good right now. And then let's jump into some first round leader bets. And so again, I'm going to defer to the write up here, guys. Just easier, I would say, for everyone. So first round leader wise, I already mentioned Hogard. Just add his number. A golfer that does score pretty well early AM. I think there's going to be a tiny slight AM advantage. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Does pick up like slightly wind wise. Maybe that doesn't end up happening. Could end up being wrong there. Fair warning. But JT at 35 to 1, he's the top one. Okay. Then Russell Henley. And then we're starting to get deeper odds with Hideki, Shane Lowry, Seb Straka, and Will Zalatoris. I'm fine with Willie Z at 70 to 1. I don't think he's going to be good throughout the full week, but I do think from those odds, I'm perfectly fine getting into him. Now, I do at the end of the live stream here in about 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes. I apologize for that. It's going to be a quick video. Do want to touch on a couple of things real quick before I do that. Oh no, I might be good. I might be good for 5 minutes. We'll see. My daughter woke up from her nap time. Fair warning. So, gotta sneak in some content sometimes when you can. But I do want to jump into real quickly lineup builder. Okay, so if you are building a custom model using the 9 to 5 data, I think this is actually a decent route to go this week. And what I'm actually doing in some instances, I'm doing studs and duds here. So studs and duds only. And I'm also doing the 9 to 5 model, obviously, in there. And so I did a few lineups like this. Like, honestly, like, I think it was 25% of my lineups were something like this. So I would export this and upload into the 9 to 5 lineup builder. I'm pretty comfortable with that. Just again, because of the insane amount of good 5K plays that we have, you could theoretically, and I've done this a bunch, you can get in hand builds, you can get 4 9K plays with the 5K plays and have a great lineup. And so I want the 9 to 5 lineup builder to do that for me. But you can also do an extreme AM emphasis. I don't think there's going to be a weather advantage. And I actually think it's going to be more of the PM split. So I only did about 10% of my lineups like this, guys. But I think it's worthwhile. We have seen in the past, this tournament has had a few times where the PM AM split, or well, mostly the AM PM split, has been the biggest difference. But again, looking at the weather report, I think if there is going to be a weather split, it's actually going to be more of an extreme PM AM split. And so I did about 20% of my lamps that way. Will that end up mattering? Probably not. But the whole point of doing GPPs and lamps like that is to chase some kind of upside and somewhat random upside. And that's kind of a way to just get unique, is stacking that as well. So I'm perfectly fine to do that there. And then just real quickly, because again, apologies, I do need to get out of here. Let's see. I think we're good. Outright wise, we'll touch on that real quick. Like I said, we only have one good outright bet. That's Colin Morikawa. Okay, so 14-1 for Colin Morikawa. I'm fine with that. Hideki at 33-1. It just kind of does seem to me like it's Hideki's year somewhat, guys. And so I'm kind of fine getting to Hideki. Let's actually jump back into the other slide. 33-1 FanDuel. Feel pretty good about that. Tommy Fleetwood 30-1 FanDuel. Shane Lowry 40-1. Seb Straka, it is unfortunate he is down from 60-1. If he actually gets down to like 40-1 on most books, I don't think I would recommend him at that point. The one odd bet that did stand out to me was Alex Smalley at like 4.5-1 on most books. I think that's a pretty good edge. Do you want to call it that? A lot of the 5K plays you can get as good make cut bets as well on some sites. Those golfers that are popping up as well. So apologies, guys. I do need to get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck with all your bets and picks for round one and also for the full week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. Give a like and subscribe. If you guys do want access to any of the tools that you saw in this video, like I mentioned, always kind of trying to add in new things for you guys. All the tools on the site are available for $10 a month. That includes the prop tools. That includes all the fancy golf tools as well. All right, that's all, guys. Thanks for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.